Hi guys, how we doing? For seeing this is probably, well, not probably, it will be in parts. This is probably going to be, well, it will be part one, and then the next one you'll see is part two. And the reason for it is I can't keep this under 7 minutes. This is probably like my eighth attempt to talk about this, and it's just too long to, I have too much to say about it. But anyways, excuse me, I had something on my tooth. This is going to be about healthcare because it seems to be the hot topic right now, in which it should be. I'm glad conversations are finally starting and people are actually talking about it and telling their stories and what they've been through, because the more times you tell stories to people out there and people can relate, and then they might actually get some insight that they may have not have known about prior. So this particular thing that's happened, I can very much relate to. I was denied health insurance back in 2013, early in my diagnosis. I was diagnosed in 2012, at the end of December, or mid-December. Going into 2013, I had, obviously common sense kicked in and thought, oh my God, I need to get health insurance. With the fact that it was a pre-existing condition, Blue Cross and Blue Shields told me no. Which, ironically speaking, because many years later, Blue Cross and Blue Shields in 2022 paid for my surgery. But anyways, so with that being said, I want to inform a lot of you that if you are in a situation that you need health insurance, if it's an ailment or any kind of ailment, if it's just, stomach bug that I just got over, that's what's inspiring this video, actually. Somebody had mentioned to me that, hey, are you going to the doctor? And no, I don't have health insurance. Thank God I'm into nutrition and, home remedies and stuff like that, that I was able to kick it on my own. But that's not always the case. There are a lot of people out there who have a lot of serious health conditions. So with that being said, if it's not something that you've had your whole life and you're sprung on a health condition of any kind, I want you to know that there's hope out there for you, and there's ways to get around it. It took me a lot of years to figure out ways to get around it, and basically, I hate to say it, but it's self-pay. Now, if you have a medical bill that's got a lot of zeros behind it, and you're struggling in life, as most of us in this country, in the United States, are trying to get by, and yes, but the thing that a lot of people don't realize is that most hospitals, not all of them, will allow you to go into a program that will allow you to make payments every month. It's look at it like health insurance bill. You're paying health insurance every month. Well, instead of paying your health insurance, you're actually paying the hospital for the procedures that you've already had. So there's that in mind. Or you can, responsible people, I didn't do this, but responsible people open up an account and start putting in, $100 a month into that account and save it for if you have to go to the doctor. Now, if you do have health insurance, read over your policies, people. Know what you're paying for. It might be 200, 300, 400 pages long. I mean, that's a stretch, but not most people's is that long. However, there's fine detail that you have to read over. How I personally did it is I started with the self-care, and I started researching doctors. I started to look into the hospitals that I was going to or had to go to. I was given a lot of advice from a team of people at the Joe Niekro Foundation. So if you do have a stroke, aneurysm, AVM, that's a great support group to look into. And it's people all over the country. Now, with that being said, you look into the doctors, and if you have to pay that fee for that consultation fee, you have to bite the bullet. I did. I lived on $2.13 an hour through, working in food and bev. I was a server and I was not making the money. So I had to the rebel in me just said, fuck it. I'll figure it out later. And I did. I think all together, if you add the 12 years of with the doctors and self-care, which I'm almost at the end of paying the hospital, even though I did have health insurance, I still had a bill. But my bill was $600 and my procedure was like 100 grand. So Blue Cross and Blue Shield did come through in the end. But I ended up going through an agent, and that agent happened to be through the Affordable Care Act, which aka Obamacare. A lot of people have things to say about it, but I'll tell you what, it saved my life. I had to stay in poverty because of it, because it goes by your income, but sacrifice. My life was worth it, and your life is worth it. And it's very easy to slip into a depression over it. Now, go to part two. We're in part two. As I was saying, your life is important, and I want you all to know that. No matter how depressed, no matter how hard it is, no matter how much you're in pain physically, emotionally, your life is worth it. And you have to fight for it. Nobody else is going to fight for it. You can have an advocate, but a lot of people don't. I didn't have one. I didn't have somebody going to the doctor with me all the time. I had a few people in my corner, but I was my own advocate. I did my own research. People who believed in me told me the same thing that I'm telling the world now, is that you matter and your life matters, and you have to warrior it up and fight for it. And stop giving your money, your hard-earned money, to people who don't give a fuck about you. Health insurance is good, but you can't rely on it. You just never can rely on it. It's too damn expensive. Hospitals care more than insurance companies care. And people could say a lot about hospitals, that they don't care. Well, they have to. It's a business, but they at least have a code of ethics that they will fight for your life. Insurance companies don't have a code of ethics. Remember that. So not every hospital in this country, in the United States, will see or feel that way. I particularly had 4 hospitals to choose from on the East Coast. So, and all 4 of those hospitals are set up for self-care. They're teaching hospitals, but they're all set up for self-care. So you can pay your way through it, and they will see you. They will not deny you to be seen. I went through that in Pennsylvania. They denied me to see that specialist, that first neurosurgeon that I talked about, that I didn't talk so highly about. His office wouldn't even see me after that first time because I didn't have health insurance. And at the time, in the state of Pennsylvania, I made too much money. To be able to go on welfare, to get welfare insurance. So I had no idea or no clue about health agents who are not through the insurance companies. They might be privately owned, but they will sit down with you, talk to you what your ailments are, and go through policies and tell you how much they are. And some you can get them through like big companies like Blue Cross. But with me in particular, I went here in South Carolina, in Somerville, to an agent that I happened to stumble upon. I was guided, swear to God. He just walked in my coffee shop, and the name of it is American Eagle, and I'm a mall kid, so of the early 2000s, and I thought it was a store, and I was like, hey, blah, blah, and he's like, no, I work for a healthcare, blah, blah, blah. Really great company to go through. But the downside to it is that I feel like it's set up to keep you poor, because it was expensive. But thankfully I had people in my family that were willing to allow me not to pay rent for a little while. I was very fortunate and very lucky with that there. And then once I got back up on my feet and whatnot, but not everybody has that option. But the thing is, I always want you guys to know that there's always a choice out there. And if you have to use the system, I use the system. I made $10 an hour in a coffee shop, and I made a choice to work there. So sometimes, in the food and bev world, you actually do make more than some people. You can make 10 a year, you can make 40 a year. I know servers, bartenders that make like 60, 70, 80 a year. I mean, it just depends. And I didn't want to take that chance. So I stuck right where I was at. I paid my taxes, I got a tax credit. People can say what you want, but my life depended on it, and I knew what I was capable of. So I stuck with it, and it paid off. It seriously paid off. I didn't have $1 million to pay for brain surgery. Who does? What normal people do? But there are those normal people out there that have great careers, that pay their employer, that don't take a look at what their employer is even offering them through that health insurance, and Obamacare, Affordable Care Act, whatever you want to call it, won't allow you to do it. So people become stuck. And I do think it's really messed up. It needs to change. How? I have no idea. But I just learn loopholes in life, and I feel like the way the state of things are going, you have to learn loopholes in life to get through life. It's meant to help you, I guess. I don't fucking know. What I do know is that just don't lose hope, that if there's a will, there's a way. It's not impossible to get care. You can get it. You just have to find it. Just be a fighter. Just don't let people walk all over you, and because your life matters. I don't know what else to say. Cheers. Hope you all are doing well, and stay well, and I wish you all the health and wellness out there. Cheers.